The observation deck of the celestial horizon hummed with the quiet efficiency of a ship at the edge of known space. Jasmine stood before the panoramic viewport, her reflection ghosting over the swirling nebula beyond. Behind her, the senior officers debated their next move. "We need someone expendable," Commander Thrace said, his voice carrying across the deck. "The quantum field is unstable. Whoever goes in might not come back." Jasmine turned, her expression carefully neutral. "Kevin volunteers." The room fell silent. Kevin, the ship's junior engineer, looked up from his datapad, his boyish face betraying no surprise. He was used to this being the one they sent into the impossible situations because he was, as Jasmine had once put it, adequate but unremarkable. "Are you certain?" Thrace asked, studying Kevin with the cold calculation of a man who'd sent hundreds to their deaths. "He's not enough," Jasmine said flatly, meeting Kevin's eyes without flinching. "But he's what we have. The AI projections give him a 12% survival probability. Better than nothing." Kevin stood slowly, setting down his data. Around him, the other crew members avoided his gaze, some from shame, others from relief that it wasn't them. Only Dr. Yuki, the ship's xenobiologist, placed a hand on his shoulder as he passed. "Good luck," she whispered. Kevin nodded once and left the deck. The cargo bay was cold, the kind of cold that seeped into bones and stayed there. Kevin suited up methodically, checking each seal, each connection. The quantum breach loomed beyond the airlock, a tear in reality itself, pulsing with colors that shouldn't exist, emitting readings that defied every known law of physics. Through the breach, somewhere in that impossible space, lay the artifact, the one thing that could save them from the Vrex armada bearing down on their position. Intelligence suggested it was a weapon left behind by the precursors, beings who'd mastered reality manipulation before humanity had even discovered fire. Jasmine's voice crackled through his helmet. "Come, you have 6 hours of oxygen. The breach is expanding at 0.3% per hour. If you're not back in 5 hours, we're leaving." "Understood," Kevin replied, his voice steady. "Kevin," she paused, and for a moment, he thought he heard something, regret, perhaps, or doubt. But then her professional tone returned. "Don't be a hero. Get the artifact and get out." "Not enough for heroics anyway," he said, allowing himself a small smile she couldn't see. The airlock cycled open, and Kevin stepped into madness. Inside the breach, physics was a suggestion rather than a law. Kevin's boots found purchase on surfaces that appeared and disappeared, walked on walls that became floors, breathed vacuum that somehow sustained him. His suit's sensors screamed warnings that made no sense, temperature readings of absolute zero and stellar core temperatures simultaneously, spatial dimensions that numbered in the dozens. But Kevin had always been good at one thing, adapting. Where others saw chaos, he saw patterns. Where Jasmine saw inadequacy, he saw flexibility. He pushed deeper into the breach, following the artifact's signal. Time became meaningless. Minutes stretched into hours or compressed into seconds. He saw things, shadows of civilizations that never existed, ghosts of futures that might never be, echoes of humanity's extinction playing out in infinite variations. And then he found it. The artifact wasn't what they'd expected. Not a weapon, not technology at all, really. It was alive, or something beyond alive. A consciousness that existed in the spaces between dimensions, and it had been waiting. "Why do you come?" it asked without words. Kevin didn't hesitate. "My people are dying. We need help." The small one, the insufficient one. The presence seemed amused. "She named you thus. Do you accept this judgment?" "I accept that I'm what we have," Kevin said. "And sometimes, what we have is enough." The artifact pulsed, and Kevin understood. It didn't want a hero. It didn't want the strongest or the smartest or the most worthy. It wanted someone who understood the value of being underestimated, who knew that survival wasn't about being the best, it was about being adaptable, resilient, human. "Take my gift, small one. Show them what not enough truly means." The artifact flowed into Kevin, through him, around him. Knowledge flooded his mind, not just about the Vrex, but about the nature of reality itself, about the quantum fields that held the universe together, about the infinite possibilities that existed in every moment. Jasmine stood on the observation deck, watching the breach close. 4 hours and 53 minutes had passed. Kevin wasn't coming back. "Prepare for jump," she ordered, her voice hollow. "We'll have to face the VX without the breach." Flared brilliant white, Kevin emerged, walking on vacuum itself, his suit glowing with energy that shouldn't exist. Behind him, the breach collapsed, sealing permanently. But he'd changed. His eyes held depths that hadn't been there before, and around him, reality bent like water around a stone. He came aboard, and with a gesture, every system on the ship upgraded, evolved. The engines hummed with power that violated thermodynamics. Weapons materialized that could reshape space-time. Shields formed from woven quantum probability. Jasmine stared, speechless for the first time in her career. Kevin removed his helmet, his expression serene. "The Vrex armada arrives in 3 hours, he said quietly. "We'll be ready." "Kevin, what happened to you?" He smiled, and in that smile was the weight of civilizations, the knowledge of gods, the patience of eternity. I was not enough, he said. So I became more. Humanity has always been good at that, taking what we have and making it sufficient. The next morning, after the Vrex Armada had been reduced to quantum uncertainty, after the Celestial Horizon had been hailed as the savior of the sector, Jasmine found Kevin in the engine room, working on calculations that would have taken her team months to solve. I'm sorry, she said. I underestimated you. Kevin looked up, and his expression was kind. You were right, though. The old Kevin wasn't enough. But humans never are, not at first. That's what makes us special. We don't accept our limitations. We transcend them. Jasmine nodded slowly, understanding at last why humanity had survived when so many other species hadn't. They'd never been the strongest, the smartest, or the most worthy. They'd simply been too stubborn to accept that not being enough was final. What now? She asked. Kevin smiled and returned to his work. Now, we show the galaxy what humanity really means. Outside the viewport the stars awaited, and for the first time in millennia, they had reason to be afraid. The end.